Kyla, can you send Bonnie the link? Okay. Bonnie will be joining shortly. Just give us a second. Okay. And Bonnie should be on now. Okay. So we will start. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining the City of Kingston Heritage Area Commission and Historic Landmark Preservation Commission for our joint monthly meeting of each respective commission. Today is Thursday, May 5th, 2022. My name is Suzanne Cahill. I am the Planning Director and the host of the virtual meeting. Kyla D-Day, Assistant Planner, will be co-host this evening. Before we begin our meeting, we would like to go over a few meeting guidelines to help navigate the system as efficiently and respectfully as possible. We are using Zoom webinar-based format, so all commissioners and applicants have received specific joining instructions as panelists. As panelists, you will be visible and able to speak upon arriving at the meeting. Guests will have option to use chat and can be unmuted or muted. All guests will be present as view-only attendees unless we promote them to panelists, at which time they will be visible and able to be heard. As host, I reserve the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Commission members and city staff will control their own mute button. Good practice would be to mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a commissioner or staff wishes to speak, they will raise their hand. As the host, either I or the chair will call on them before they speak by stating their name clearly for our audio listeners and transcript recording. All of our meetings are recorded. Both video and written transcriptions will be made available to the public on the city website at a later date. Also note that this meeting is being live streamed on the city YouTube channel. In lieu of public speaking, we had requested all comment to be received by 2 p.m. on Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. Comments were to have been emailed to skhill@kingston-ny.gov, hand-delivered, placed in regular mail, or in the drop box at City Hall. Comments received on 106 to 122 Green Street have been circulated and posted. All meeting materials, applications, supporting documentation, written comments may be found on the city website by going to www.kingston-ny.gov, and on the homepage, scroll down to the bottom under meetings where you see the joint meeting posted, click on an appropriate link for the meeting agenda and materials. If at any time you have an audio issue, please send a text message to the following number, 845-443-0416. I will repeat the number again, but be aware that phone calls will not be answered during the meeting. The number again to text is 845-443-0416. As the organizer for today's meeting, I reserve the right to lock and pause the meeting, to eject anyone who has behaved inappropriately, or to enter into attorney-client conference if necessary. On behalf of the commissions, I wish to thank everyone for your continued patience during this unique time, and we wish you and your family good health. I will now call the meeting to order at 6:36 p.m. And I will turn the floor over to Chairman Clement for the HAC, who will be followed by the HLPC Chair, Mark Grumblatt, to introduce their respective commissions and to consider adoption of the most previous meeting minutes. Hayes, you're up.
Thank you, Sue. My name is Hayes Clement. I'm the chairman of the City of Kingston Heritage Area Commission and a member of the Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission. I'm going to call the roll of Heritage Area Commission members. I'm Hayes Clement. I'm present. Bonnie Howland.
Present.
Dean Barnes.
Here.
Kevin McAvoy.
Here.
Nettie Morano.
Here.
Janet Marr.
Present.
And I will note the absence of Michael Del Prior. Regardless, we have a quorum. First order of business is to the minutes of our April 7th, 2022 meeting. Have all members of the HAC had a chance to review those? Are there any suggested amendments or issues you have with the minutes of the April meeting? Do I hear a nomination? Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as submitted of the April 7th, 2022 Heritage Area Commission meeting?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Thank you, Dean. Do I hear a second?
Nettie Morano, second.
Nettie Morano, second. Thank you, Nettie. That motion's on the floor. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Dean Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Nettie Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mark, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Hayes. My name is Mark Grunblatt. I chair Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission. I will introduce our members here tonight. Hayes has already mentioned that he's a member of our commission as well as chairing HAC. I'll call the roll for the remaining members. Kevin McAvoy.
Here. Aye.
Robert Tonner.
Here.
Nettie Morano.
Here.
Thank you. I'll note the absence of Andrea Putz, our architect. And has every member of HLPC had a chance to review the minutes posted from our April 7th meeting? All right. Are there any suggested amendments or additions to the minutes as submitted? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Hayes Clement, so moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second, Robert Tonner.
Thank you, Robert. I'll call the roll. Hayes,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
and I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you. Back to you, Hayes.
The next order of business, where HAC is advisory, I would suggest you handle it first, Mark.
All right. Thank you, Hayes. This would be 204 Fair Street. We met on this last month, and they were interested in a very monochromatic color scheme with a differential in gloss. They've painted two of the windows as exemplars. Has everyone had a chance to go take a look?
Yeah.
All right, great. Hayes and I managed to time it perfectly earlier. So what were your thoughts? Is this a strong enough? Well, first, are there any questions for the applicant having seen the proposals?
Yeah, I have a question. Which is the applicant here? Where is the app?
Yes, I believe so.
Yep.
Okay. Which one do you like? Rick, right?
Yeah, it's Rick. My strong preference would be the one on the right side, which was, I think we sent the photos across. It would have been the first image.
Mock-up one. It would be the one with the midnight oil, the Benjamin Moore in the different saturation strengths.
Correct.
So Right. The second mock-up has the two separate colors.
So the one closer to the corner of the building is which one? Sorry.
To the sidewalk, or when you say the corner of the building, we've got four
yeah.
corners.
Sorry,
That
to
would be
the
the first-
sidewalk.
That would be mock-up 1.
Correct. Yeah.
Is that what I'm looking at? Or,
No, that's 2 is what you're looking at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's 1.
No, that's one. That's one.
Okay, thank you. I stand corrected.
Okay.
So I'm glad everyone's had a chance to take a look. For me, especially, I saw it in shadow this earlier today. It seemed to me that number 1 swallowed the detail more than number 2. Number 2 popped a little more. On this style, it seems to me, and Rick, I should ask, this is windows only. What's happening with the cornice work and the columns? I think you may have gone over this last month, but I need a refresher as to whether those are going to be, which of the colors you would choose for those.
It would be the same. It would be the same mock-up as what you're seeing. So for the cornice work and the detail, it would be done in the same way that the windows are being treated in the mock-ups that you've seen.
So would there be a differential within the cornice, or the cornice would be the more satiny in group 1 and in choice 1 there?
Yeah, the latter versus the former. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have questions for Rick?
No. When I was up there today, I saw you also had a sample on the wall of flint color, which was a deeper gray. I'm just wondering if you can incorporate that into the cornices or the sashes just to give it some depth. I mean, to have a building almost the same color, the sun will fade it quicker, it absorbs heat faster. I don't know, I just happened to see that flint color, which is a deeper gray.
Yeah, what I'd say is that our strong preference is for 1. You know, like I mentioned before, I think overall, what I hope that the committee sort of takes into account is the amount of work that's going into this project and the attention to detail on the removal of what used to be a very cluttered side of a building and a very dilapidated front step. And, you know, we're spending a very large sum of money to clean up all of these things and to reorganize things to make the building extremely energy efficient and doing things that holistically we're super proud of. And so, you know, the one accommodation that we would hope for is for you all to understand that in the holistic package, we'd love the opportunity to do the paint scheme that we're proposing here, with the view that, you know, we've upgraded the building, I'd say, from its former glory to something that, you know, I think the whole community can be extremely proud of.
I thought both choices were fine. I thought you really would have to study it multiple times of daylight during the day to even pick up what the difference was between the two options. So I thank you, and I would defer to your choice on this.
I'll say that I preferred the slightly greater contrast of choice 2. It was easier to see in shadow to pick out detail. I was pleasantly surprised by choice 1. But especially in low light situations, it swallowed a lot of detail. And I would worry that this style of building would become really a single solid block of color, which in in my estimation, would make it lose a lot of what it brings to the streetscape right there as people are going by. I mean, if you stand and you look, you'd still see it. I can understand the differential now, but I think in its contribution to the streetscape, a little more contrast will make it pop for the average viewer from the sidewalk. So of the two, number 2 was my personal preference. Anyone else have commentary? Nettie, I see your hand up.
I think I preferred 2 as well, but I feel the same. I defer to to Bill. Is it Bill? Yes, to the choice. I felt like they were both good. I like 2 better if it were me, but you know, it's his building.
Anyone, Kevin, Rich, Robert? Yes, Robert, I see your hand.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, we're looking at, they're both good choices. So I think we're fine. And 200, which I think it's 200, which is right next door, is white and gray. And I think this will pop on the block because of what's around it also. So you may lose a little detail, but I'm not convinced that the building would look any less elegant with you losing a little bit of detail. So I'm fine with whatever choice he wants to do.
Okay. All right. I'm getting a sense of the meeting here that number 1 is acceptable. Am I reading the board properly on that? All right. Then, here we go, 204. I will move that the commissioners present find as fact that the proposed exterior paint.
Mark, seeker
Yes.
first, please.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion that we declare this as a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
So moved.
Thank you, Kevin.
Second, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. I will call the roll. Hayes,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
Nettie.
I
I will also vote in the affirmative. Thank you. And now I will move that our commission find as fact that the proposed exterior painting at 204 Fair Street in the Fair Street Historic District by applicant Frederick L. Way III, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic district for the following reasons. The chosen color for the brick field will be Midnight Oil by Benjamin Moore at a 75% saturation strength with window lintel, sill, jam sash, and other detail painted in the same color at 100% saturation strength with satin sheen. That any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out, that the commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 5th day of May, 2022, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in our foregoing motion. Do I have a second?
Hayes Clement, second.
Thank you, Hayes. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the roll. Hayes,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
Nettie.
I'm
going to vote nay, but it will not make a difference. All right. Mr. Way, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Hayes, you're going to do heritage.
Yeah, so any members of the Heritage Area Commission have additional questions for Mr. Way or comments? Do I hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commissioner to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Bonnie Howland, second.
Thank you, Bonnie. Any debate on that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Nettie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to give a positive endorsement to the HLPC finding on the proposed paint scheme for 20 Fair Street?
Bonnie Howland, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Kevin, thank you. That motion is on the floor. Any further debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Mark.
Right. 3135 West Chestnut, I believe, is up next. Do we have an applicant here?
I believe I saw Matt Ackley.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, there you are. Thank you.
Hi, do you want to describe it to your plans to our commission?
Sure. Basically, my house is has an original roof on it that's a standing seam metal roof underneath the asphalt shingles. So basically what I wanted to do is just replace that roof that's on there. And I emailed some pictures to Sue with some of the asphalt torn up and some inside pictures. So that's basically what I just want to do is there's one that's the metal underneath the shingles. And I basically just want to put a gray standing seam roof back on it. A tin roof, yeah, tin color.
Okay.
Is it
So-
what kind of sheen, Matt? I didn't ask that. Is it going to be shiny? Is it going to be or is it going to have a duller kind of?
When it's
finish?
brand new,
Bob the roofer's with me here also. He'll mention that to you or talk to you about that.
it's a galvalume metal, and it'll be probably, it has an acrylic finish on it, so it'll be, when it first goes on, it'll look a little shiny, but it'll be color.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I lost you at the beginning. It will be shiny, but how will it weather?
It'll just weather and it'll be a pewter color, probably within 6 months, a duller color. It's just, the nature of the product. They just do a acrylic finish on it now to handle it when we work with it. But it basically, the warranty is without any coatings or anything, 30 years. The old tin roofs, you had to paint every 10 years with a red lead paint, but that we don't mention that no more. So this is a product that'll, be around probably 75 years without any maintenance.
Okay. Hayes?
What again is going to be the color of the roof?
It's not a color. There's no color. It's just going to be a tin roof.
What sort of
Gray tin.
So it sort of oxidizes to like a green finish, or it just remains sort of
No,
gray?
it'll just be a pewter, light color,
Okay. Are there
a
plans,
weathered tint. Yeah,
and are there plans to repaint the clapboard at some point? And how would that be a lighter color?
That's on me. I think what I was going to do is stick with the same colored gray that's on the house now, just a light gray with white trim. And that's another thing I have to get in. I'm starting to do projects on this house and make it look good.
You do have to come back when you do decide to paint the clapboard. I think it'll look nice.
Any other questions from HLPC members for Mr. Ackley? All right, I will entertain a motion that we declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
So moved, Hayes.
Thank you, Hayes. Do I hear a second?
Second, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Okay. I will move that our commission find as fact that the proposed roof replacement at 31, also known as 35 West Chestnut Street, in the West Chestnut Street Historic District by applicant Matthew Ackley, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic nature of the district for the following reasons. The roof will replace deteriorated asphalt shingles with a standing seam metal roof in a gray color. Any additions or changes to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on the 5th day of May, 2022, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Aye.
Nettie Morano, second.
All right, Nettie, I think you won the race. Hayes, you were muted. I will call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you. Over to you, Hayes.
Do any members of the Heritage Area Commission have further questions for the applicant? Do I hear a motion from an HAC commissioner to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Thank you, Dean. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Kevin McAvoy. That motion's on the floor. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Nettie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to endorse the findings of fact and the approval of the roof plan at 3135 West Chestnut Street as submitted?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
I hear a second.
Nettie Morano, second.
Thank you, Nettie. That motion's on the floor. Is there any further debate on that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Nettie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you so much.
Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Hayes. I believe the next item on the agenda is 106-122 Green Street. Since I have an interest in an adjoining property, I'll be recusing. So I believe, Hayes, you'll be running both sides of this discussion. So I'm going to mute.
Do we have Selena, you're here representing the property of the,
I believe
Yes,
Karen is also here.
yeah, Karen is also on.
at last month's meeting, we had asked you for a few things. One was a physical example of the windows you were proposing to replace the original windows. The second was a documented consultation with a window replacement expert. And the third was a submission of a plan for the shutters and window restoration. Were you able to put those together?
Okay. We had a gentleman from Williams Lumber, the Marvin man, was going to bring an example of the materials by. However, he landed in the hospital with COVID. So that kind of nixed that. Evidently, when we tried to get the samples at the store, nobody there were able to help us. Okay. We had, what was the other things? The documented replacement. I do have an overview from Historic House Rights in an email. That's about it. Let's see. And what was the third item? I'm sorry. The plan. I had submitted the overall plan. And since this plan was submitted, it's been discovered that in the early 1980s is when the shutters were applied to the home building. They were built by the head of the BOCES woodworking department and his father.
And those are still in the basement, right? And there's a plan to put those back on the building?
Well, we have them stored right now, that they are still hanging on the front facade. And after the windows are dealt with and paid for, we will then pursue activity on the shutters.
The other thing we asked Selena, and we gave you the name of at least one window restoration expert. Were you able to reach out to that person and get a consultation from them?
No, we were
Okay.
not able to. They were reached out to Karen. I think you might be able to fill in more. We had reached out to them roughly a year ago, and they really didn't have time, and it was going to be quite a wait and quite a fee involved.
Karen, did you have anything else?
By the way, may I point out that these windows have been purchased.
When did you purchase?
They will be arriving roughly in mid-June. I'm sorry?
When did you purchase them?
Your sound is being intermittent.
When did you purchase the windows?
They were ordered in mid-March.
Karen, did you have anything else to add?
Yes, I think some people are under a misconception about a few different things. One, because we are not on a national or state registry, we looked at what your guidelines were, and we have, followed those guidelines with going ahead and buying the windows. We never were going to put in vinyl windows. That was never an option. I don't know if you understand what DAR stands for. We stand for historic preservation, country home, and we take great pride in this house. And there is nothing we would do to this house to make it worse and make it look bad. That's why we took 2 years before we decided to do anything. We did extensive research as to where to buy windows, what kind of windows, what would be the best thing to do. The windows that are in the house now, that's another misconception. The only part of those windows that are old is the outside frame. Everything else in those windows have been replaced over time. In the past 15 years, 20 of the 32 windows that we have been replaced with glass. They've had new putty put in, whatever you want to call it. I'm not quite up on that kind of thing.
But
So
the sashes and the frames are original.
yes, and that's it. Everything else in that window, and they're falling apart. You can stick your finger right through 2/3 of them. That's why we decided it would be better to go with new windows instead of trying to repair these. And when we checked to see how much it was going to cost from a restorer, a well-known historic restorer in our area, we were told it was going to cost us pretty much the same as what these brand new windows were going to cost. And then these windows are being made by hand with a historic company that's been in business since 1912, doing just this, hand making windows. It's not like Anderson where they just pop them out one right after the other. That's why it's taking so long for them to be made, is because each one is individually done. The gentleman came out 3 times, measured 3 different times to make sure they had everything absolutely accurate. And in that paperwork that was sent, I know you got copies of what the windows were going to look like. I think there was 7 of one, 4 of another, 2 of another, that kind of thing. That told you every window is wood. Everything on the window is wood, except for the little hook on the, that puts the top and the bottom windows together. That is brass, which is on there now. Other than that, you will not be able to tell these new windows from the old ones. I understand preservation is extremely important, and we have tried to preserve as much as we can with this house. I don't know if you're aware, but the front door and those front windows weren't put in until the 1900s. They weren't original to the house. The 2 leaded windows on the side and the Dutch door were not original to that house. There are other little things that we did. We had to get a new roof, and no one ever said anything to us at all. We put up a new fence. No one said anything to us. We had to change bluestone siding because somebody went out there and wrote disgusting stuff all over our sidewalks. At our expense, we replaced them. We've done all these things. We've cut down trees because they needed to be trimmed and cut down because they were leaning on someone else's property. And not one person has ever said anything to us. That's why we figured that, okay, we're not on the registry. We can do these things to improve our home. And, we weren't trying to go behind your backs and do something. This was like totally out of the blue that we didn't realize that we had to do this. That's what it boiled down to. We were not trying to be sneaky or anything like that. We were just doing what we thought was the right thing to do. And we did check your guidelines, and we went past, we have surpassed everything that is in your guidelines. I even checked with 2 different agencies up for New York State and told them what we were doing, sent them copies of everything that we were doing. And they both said that, as far as they were concerned, we've done everything that we needed to do to surpass anything that they would have to, judge us on. So I'm just sort of at a loss as to why there is such a problem with this. I just don't understand it, I guess.
Any other HLPC commissioners have questions for the applicants or comments?
I've got one question about the shutters, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You said they were replaced in the 80s, or they were put on in the 80s?
They were put on. We have not found evidence there was any prior to that.
Okay, that's what I wanted to check, is if they were a replacement or if they were just something you guys decided to add for, visual reasons.
We have one member who's not doing very well, and that was around back in those times. And it's difficult to find things without going through.
But you don't have any photos from, 1900
I
that
don't know
show.
what-
Yes, yes, we do.
We did reach out to,
We do have photos.
And shutters or no shutters?
No shutters.
look at the one
Okay.
right behind me. That's the building. No shutters.
Yeah, I have 5 pictures and they go back to the 1800s and there
Mhm.
are no shutters on the house.
Okay, that answers my question.
Here's one from the Friends of Historic Kingston with shutters. There's also pictures with no shutters too. I mean, the shutters come, the shutters go. The shutters come, the shutters
Right.
go. It
Well,
seems to me-
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly the point. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
going forward, once these windows are done, we will, get shutters up again. But right
Right.
now, they won't hold on to the building because though the hardware for them is attached to the wood, that's no good.
right.
The little metal iron piece, right? that you're talking
Yes.
about? Yeah.
There's basically kind of like a hinge piece on the top and bottom, right on the outer part of the window. And then there's a long hook of sorts that holds them open.
Any other questions or comments? Sue, would the professional staff like to weigh in on this?
We would just say that we also at staff level had a conversation with representatives of the State Historic Preservation Office. They reviewed the discussion of the commissions last month, and they felt that it would be appropriate for the commissions to seek out their advisory opinion. We could not request it at staff level, so that's something we're asking the commissions to do. Refer the proposal to SHPO and ask them for an advisory opinion only. They also suggested, and I agree, that we should get a detailed condition survey or assessment done from a qualified historic preservation consultant. Now, if that material exists, we need it, it should be submitted so that we can review that. It's been stated that the survey work had been done by an individual. We have not seen that work. I think that the application technically could be considered incomplete unless we get that in order for you to fully evaluate what's being requested of you.
I'm trying to get my head around this whole thing. On the City of Kingston website, there is a brochure about your committee. Preservation Guidelines of Kingston, New York. On page 4, it talks about the design review process, what needs to be reviewed. If you are simply repairing or replacing something with the same material that is currently on your building or repainting in exactly the same color, no review is required. So I don't even know why we're here. Obviously, the wood windows are there. We're replacing them with wooden windows. If it's 12 over 12 with the muntins, that's what we're putting back in. They will be all painted white, which is what is there now.
Well, again, this is a little, we're just taking your word for it. We asked for a physical sample of the windows and we
None
haven't.
of them exist until the ones we have purchased come in.
Any other questions of the applicants or comments?
It's my understanding there is someone's order at Williams Lumber. However, they're made of mahogany and they will not let them out of the building.
This is Bonnie Howland. Did they give you the option to pay for a sample?
Karen, I think you can answer. You're better.
I don't remember them saying that.
Karen was the one that was
offering, because I
dealing with Williams.
probably would have
Karen?
asked how much it was, and if it wasn't too much, go ahead and do it. What I don't think you understand is at the time that we bought these windows, it was the same price as what the restoration gentleman gave us. He came out, he looked at everything and gave us a price of how much it was going to be. And then we looked at brand new windows and thought, okay, we can get brand new windows that are warranted for 3 times the amount of time. And he wouldn't even warranty them, the restoration guy, because he said that there's just so much work that needs to be done that there was no way that he really could, you know. So, I mean, I don't know
Do
how
you
long.
have that documentation, Karen?
Selena has the paperwork from him. I just
All I have is an email.
you know, what I have is just what he would have charged us for each window, and it came to $60,000. And we've already paid that for our windows. And that money, we don't have grants.
Restoration at this point is beyond comprehension.
Right. We don't get grants because we're not on the national and state registry. This money came from people who were in our chapter who donated money when they passed away. And we've been, you know, put it into CDs and the money market and like that. We have been doing, for the last few years, we've been doing any kind of sales or anything we could in order to get the money together just to pay for the windows. We, you know, and that doesn't include putting in the windows. We still have to do that, which is another 20,000. So it's not like we're talking a small amount of money here. And, you know, we're panicked because what are we going to do with these windows if we can't put these windows in? You know, we're just, Selena and I haven't slept. I mean, we you know, we talk and we cry to each other on the phone because this is, you know, this is a house that we love. And I can't stress enough that we would never do anything that would make this house look bad. You know, we're trying to maintain the house. There are a lot of things inside the house that were changed when our chapter bought this house in 1906. And, you know,
Purchase.
we've been maintaining all of that stuff. The stuff on the outside, we try to keep the yard always done, the trees trimmed. We planted flowers. We've replaced things that needed to be done. You know, we've probably spent $250,000 on this house just in repair. And, you know, we're just a small chapter. We don't have an outrageous amount of money, you know, and so I just want you to understand where we're coming from, that we thought we were doing the right thing and thought that, you know, we could do this without any problems. We didn't realize that this is what we needed to do. Otherwise, we would have done this long before we ordered the windows. I don't, you know, I don't know what else to say. I'm heartsick. You know, we love this house. It's like in my soul. I don't know how else to put it to you. I mean, I know you probably understand that to a point, but you know, this is something that we've worked since 1906 to maintain as a little chapter of less than 50 people. And we have maintained it on our own because we don't have any way to say, oh, I'm going to apply for this grant, I'm going to apply for that grant, because we can't. So this is all money that we have earned through our sweat and time in order to do this, to make our house look the way it should look. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We understand your dilemma here, and I don't want to minimize it, and I understand your anxiety, but unfortunately, personally, speaking for myself, I don't think you've provided sufficient information as requested last month for us to to approve this. And I realize those are due to circumstances somewhat beyond your control in some instances, and in some not. But
well, I have a question. If we're replacing wood with wood, we're replacing them with pine. We're painting them white. So even if it was made of some other wood, you would never tell. What is the big problem?
Don't know that. We haven't seen a sample of the window.
So
I
if
think
we,
the condition survey is what we really are, I mean, would solidify your position, or an assessment.
so if I
also
can
is-
drive,
And
I'm
if
sorry,
you
go-
have that documentation, like you say, at least submit that. I mean, we haven't seen that documentation. We've heard you say it exists, but we have not seen it.
right, understandable.
And this is Bonnie Hallen. I just want to just note that you have openly said that someone gave you a quote to repair the windows, which means the windows are repairable. Comparably, so you could buy them new for the same amount of money. Your choice was to buy new, which makes sense. But you're saying that somebody quoted you that they are repairable, and you made a choice based on the value, I guess, the value
No.
add of new versus old.
No, no.
Okay.
We made the choice on the amount of work that needed to be done. He could not guarantee that it would last because the windows are in such bad shape that you can put your fingers through them. That's why the shutters and glass from the windows were falling out all over the sidewalks. That was the main reason why we took the shutters down, because there was no way to hold them in. And, those things need to be repaired, which will be done when the windows are taken out and then put back in. And the reason
Understood.
that was why we opted for new ones was because we knew, one, they'd be energy efficient. Two, they were wood and would be look exactly the way the other ones do. They'll be painted exactly the same color. Chips have already been taken so that the paint color matches perfectly. You won't be able to tell. I know there was someone who said that the Muntins were going to look humongous. Well, they're not. It's less than a 1/16 of an inch difference, which, I mean, you need a magnifying glass in order to see any kind of difference. And, we weighed all of these things over, okay, we can keep the windows that we have, which really aren't old windows anymore because they've been replaced and pieces of the wood muntins have been replaced. All the 99% of the glass has been replaced.
Right, Karen, I think that's what we're getting at. We don't know that. Okay, that's the documentation that we're looking to get our hands on. So if you have that documentation, if that was done and that assessment and that review was made, then you should be able to submit that.
Okay.
That's what we need to see, the condition survey and the assessment.
I did not get an answer to the question that I asked. If, according to this brochure online, we do not need to be under review, why are we under review?
Because the windows don't necessarily need to be replaced. We're talking about, a significant historic building that is in a National Register district, and it's part of that. And work that's done on that may not be needed. And if you can repair something versus replace it, then that's our role as a commission to make sure that it's done accordingly and appropriately.
We're replacing and painting the same thing. According to your own review process guidelines, that's a public document on the website, we do not need to be under review.
We review replacement of windows and major hardware all the time.
Why does this brochure state otherwise?
I think you're misinterpreting it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I will read this verbatim. If you are simply repairing or replacing something with the same material that is currently on your building, or repainting in exactly the same color, no review is required. Also down the list here, what does not need to be reviewed, one of the items is replacement of roofs, siding, and other exterior features in the same material. So twice it has it in there.
Just have you familiarized yourself with the statute? It's in our zoning code. That's the actual law that does apply. It's section 40564, has to do with the review procedure. I don't have this pamphlet that you have before you, but the actual law itself is a lot more specific. I will review that procedure, or that pamphlet that you have. But currently, if you are making pretty much any type of exterior change, if it's, the exact same color you're repainting over, that's fine. Oftentimes, if it's something exactly the same, that's fine. But even when there's slight differences, like you're saying that you're replacing it with wood, we don't know if the wood is similar or the same as the wood that is currently on there. And basically what I think the board is trying to explain to you isn't that your application is going to be denied, but that they don't have enough information. And they've been asking you for that information. They asked at last month's meeting, and I believe they're asking again just to get that information so that they do know that everything that you're telling them is correct. So moving forward, I believe that's really all that needs to be done at this point, is that you need to provide this additional information to the commissions so that they can make a decision.
Can I just ask a question? I'd like to know, okay, what exactly you are asking for is you want someone to come to our house, look at the windows, tell you whether they're pine or maple or whatever. And I'm not sure what the condition of each window is. Is that what you're asking? I wasn't at last month's meeting, so I'm asking now so I know what we need to do.
Okay, what we're looking for is yes, a qualified historic preservation individual to go and do a condition survey, an evaluation of each of the window units, and provide that information back to us.
Well, if we can find any more information from Historic House Rights, fine, we will provide that. But we do not have the money to do any additional detective work like that.
Sue, can you provide them with names of a qualified restoration professional
that will do this for nothing?
Yeah, because this white clay would not do it for nothing. And everybody keeps pushing her on us, and we can't afford to have someone.
Who did you say? I'm sorry.
White Clay Kill.
Yeah, White Clay Kill.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can't afford it. I mean, we've got all of our money tied up in these windows, and we don't have the money. And with COVID and everything, our membership has gone down from 94 to 50 because of COVID and nobody showing up, and people who are elderly passing away, and it's just the whole. Well, I'm sure you guys understand that. But I will find, I'll talk to Brian Kennedy. He's the head of Historic House Rights, and I will tell him exactly what we need. He has done restoration all over the state. So I would assume he qualifies. I'm assuming. He's done houses in Kingston. He's done houses all over that I know of in the county, and I know he's been out further. And I will have him come to the house. I'll make an appointment. I'm the house manager. I'll have him come and meet me there. He can go through the house, look at all the windows, and give you a list of the condition, what they're made of. What else do we need?
So his name was Brian Kennedy, you said?
Yes. He is the head of
Historic House Rights.
Right.
Historic, okay.
Yeah. What else? I want to be sure that we have everything so that I don't want you to think we're trying to skirt around this. I
understand
this right.
If he's, if he has any questions, he can give me a call, but it's basically a conditions survey.
Okay.
Which would be, a full assessment of the window units and what you're proposing to do, and, an opinion as to, whether or not they are repairable, would be what we're seeking to see.
Well, he's the one.
Okay.
I'm sorry. he's the one who came in and told us that he wouldn't guarantee our windows because they were in such bad shape. So
And that was quite a while ago, so they're even worse
Yeah.
now.
that was almost a year ago.
The additional thing, and this is my opinion, it's for
Okay,
the full commission to decide. I would propose that we seek an advisory opinion on this from the State Historic Preservation Office. Given the different generations of style, the facade has gone through all of that. I think that'd be extremely helpful and is necessary here.
from what was it? The state what?
New York State Historic Preservation Office,
Okay.
what Sue is referring to as SHPO, SHPO.
Okay. Yeah, whatever we need to
Well, that
do.
was that.
Well,
Karen, that was that
that would be
Chelsea
in
lady.
addition to you getting that, getting the survey
Right.
and the
Now-
assessment done.
Okay, was that Chelsea Towers?
Yes, she works for them, yes.
Well, she's already seen all of the paperwork that we submitted to you. She has already seen and said she would approve it.
Well, there we go.
I have an email.
So you should be in good shape, but I'm going to
Okay.
we get an advisory opinion from them.
Sure, not a problem. You know, like I said, we want to do whatever we need to do. I just have one quick question and I promise I won't say anything else. If
Okay.
we don't get this, what are we supposed to do with all these windows that we've paid for that we now won't be able to use? We can't.
Legally, under our statutes, if you are denied, there is a hardship procedure that you can apply. That I can tell you that the section for that is section 40566. So if your application is denied, you can possibly pursue the hardship procedure.
40566.
Yes.
Okay.
Do
I wrote it down. Thank you.
Do we need a secret declaration on this, Sue, at this point?
No, you would be tabling, but you do need to do if you want to do the referral for the advisory opinion and just again, reiterate the request for the survey as part of your decision.
Do I hear a motion from an HLPC member to formally seek an advisory opinion from the New York State Preservation Office on the window replacement plan at 106-122 Green Street, and also request the applicants to submit a detailed condition survey and assessment from a qualified historic preservation
That
specialist?
will happen only if it will be pro bono.
That's not part of the motion. I'm sorry. Do I hear a motion?
So moved, Robert.
Do I hear a second?
Nettie Morano, second.
Any further debate on this?
No, just, I would like to say thank you very much for letting me take the time to explain everything and
It's much
You know.
much appreciated. And listen, we're sympathetic to you. And hopefully the SHPO opinion is as you say, and they're fine with it. We're not looking to cause a problem here.
no, I apologize if you took it that way. That was never what I meant to say. And I'm sorry if you did.
So that duly made motion is on the floor. Is there any further debate? Everyone understands it? No further debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Andrea Putes is absent. Robert Tonner.
Aye.
Nettie Morano.
Aye.
And I will note that our chairman, Mark Grunblatt, is recusing. The ayes have it. Thank you, ladies. We look forward to talking to you again next month. And please be in touch.
Hayes, the HAC will also need to just do a table motion, please, and concur with HLPC.
Do any members of the HAC have additional questions of the applicants? Do I hear a motion from an HAC member to advise seeking an advisory opinion from the New York State Historic Preservation Office regarding the proposed window replacement at 106-122 Green Street?
Bonnie Howland, so moved.
Also to request that the applicants At our next meeting, submit a detailed condition survey and assessment from a qualified historic preservation specialist.
Bonnie Howland, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Nettie
Second.
Morano, second.
Okay, Nettie, you get it. Nettie.
That duly made motion is on the floor. Any further debate among Heritage Area Commission members? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
and Janet Marr.
Aye.
Thank you, Selena and Karen, and please be in touch with Sue's office if you have questions.
Yes. we
Okay,
will.
thank
If-
you.
Can I just, never mind. I'll ask Sue. I'll just call her tomorrow and talk to her. Thank you.
So,
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
everyone.
Thank you.
Mark?
Thank you, Hayes. I believe next up is 41-45 Ravine Street. Do we have the applicant here?
Yeah, Kate is on.
Hello.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate. Thank you for coming out tonight. Well, and you're coming on Zoom with us. This is a shed. I wasn't clear from the application exactly how far from the house it is and what colors you're proposing. Can you explain that to us?
I can. It is 40 feet set back from the road. It's probably about 40 feet, maybe a little more from the house. It's on the vacant lot next to our house, and the color is kind of a gray tan color with white trim. It's a shed.
Okay. And does the color match the house? Is it contrast? Is it just meant to be neutral? What was the thought?
It's meant to be neutral. We have a brick house, so it doesn't really match.
All right. Do other members of the Historic Landmark Preservation Commission have any questions for the applicant?
Is it sitting on a concrete pad or is that gravel?
It will be, well, that's a sample picture.
Mock-up, sure.
It's going to be on crushed stone.
Okay.
Any additional questions? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
Hayes Clement, so moved.
Thank you, Hayes. Do I hear a second?
Robert, second.
Thank you, Robert. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the roll. Hayes? Aye. Kevin? You're muted, Kevin.
Sorry. Aye.
Thank you. Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. All right. I move that the commission find as fact that the proposed installation of a freestanding shed at 41-45 Ravine Street in the Rondout Historic District by applicant Kate Dube, if done according, am I saying that correctly?
It's Doobie.
Thank you.
No problem.
Applicant Kate Doobie, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The shed will be a prefabricated non-permanent installation on a crushed stone base. Any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to additional work being carried out. Our commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 5th day of May 2022, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work described herein and in its application to our commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
And I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you kindly, Kate.
Do members of the Heritage Area Commission have additional questions of the applicant? Do I hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commissioner to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Nettie Morano, second.
Thank you, Nettie. Any debate on that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Barnes.
Aye.
Heather McAvoy.
Aye.
Eddie Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Do I hear a motion to issue a positive endorsement of the HLPC findings regarding the shed installation at 41-45 Ravine Street?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
There's second.
Bonnie Howland, second.
That duly made motion is on the floor. Any further debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Barnes.
Aye.
Heather McAvoy.
Aye.
Eddie Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Kate.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Right. I believe the next item on the agenda is 111 Spring Street. This is in the area of the Rondout that is advisory. I see, let's see, Mr. Needham, you're our applicant here.
Yes.
If you could explain what's happening for the record, thank you.
Absolutely. We are looking to add a mudroom onto the side of our house. As we know, a lot of these older houses, you just come directly into the house and there's no mudroom. So we're looking to add a small mudroom, 84 square feet.
And the side of it will be, right, are you building on top of this patio, or is there, what's happening with the construction?
The structure will go on top of that patio. There'll be a slab, and then the structure will be framed out on top of the concrete.
And the stairway will remain as is?
Correct. And you'll be able to get by. There's another stairway that you probably can't see there that goes up into the backyard. So that stairway leads to another stairway. Yeah, you can see it better in that picture with the handrail. Yeah. So you'll still be able to walk straight through the bluestone patio, up the stairs to your left, and then make a right and head into the backyard.
Okay, so it won't be covering the entire patio. There will be a pathway left. Am I following?
Correct. Yes, correct.
And it'll be a peaked roof matching the roof on the house?
The peak, no, it will not be a peak. It'll be a slope roof.
Coming down from the house?
Correct.
Is there going to be gutter work? And if so, do you know where it's coming out? Or is it joining something that's already on the house?
Yeah, so it would be along the front where the water will naturally go down the slope to the front. The gutter will be there, and then it'll probably just run down the side of the structure.
So sort of down that stone wall at a point that leaves the pathway open. Am I following you?
Yeah, actually, our gutters tie into the city, so we'll probably just tie right in.
A question. So when we're looking at this rendering of it, what is going to face the street? The double doors, or
No, that's actually the blue stone would be you'd be walking by those double doors to go into the backyard. What's facing the street is the siding and that longer window.
Story window. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of a contemporary treatment on the street facing elevation.
Yeah, the elevation, exactly. And then we're just going to match the siding to what we have now, which is just aluminum siding.
Got it.
Okay. Sue, as an advisory opinion from us, we have to do seeker, and
It's type 2.
it's
right?
type 2, yeah,
type 2.
pretty clearly. And in issuing an advisory opinion, this is going to the building department?
Yes, it is.
All right. Any other questions for the applicant? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion that we declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
Hayes, Clement, so moved.
Thank you, Hayes. Do I hear a second?
Nettie Morano, second.
Thank you, Nettie. Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie? Oops,
Aye.
you're muted. Thank you.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Everyone is used to me coming out with findings of fact on an advisory opinion. That's not the standard. We won't be using the standard structure. It's essentially a directive to the building department.
You would be making a recommendation, Mark, whether, to approve it as presented, approve it with modification. You're just making recommendation.
Right. So this is open to, would anyone else care to so move, or shall I put a motion together?
I move that we recommend approval of the construction of a 12 by 17 addition at 111 Spring Street as proposed.
It's 12 by 7.
7 addition.
Yeah, 12 by 7.
That was a typo, sorry.
That was a typo. My apologies.
12 by 7. I make a motion that we recommend approval of the construction of a 12 by 7 addition at 111 Spring Street as presented.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second Nettie Morano.
All right. Is there any further discussion on the motion as moved and seconded? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you, Mr. Needham.
Thank you so much.
Do any members of the HAC have questions for Mr. Needham? Do I hear a motion from an HAC member to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Motion, Kevin.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. Do I hear a second?
Second, Dean Barnes.
Thank you, Dean. That motion's on the floor. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Dean Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Nettie Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to recommend approval of the construction of a 12 by 7 addition at 111 Spring Street as presented?
Dean Barnes.
Dean Barnes, so moved. Do I hear a second?
Bonnie Howland, second.
Thank you. That motion's on the floor. Any further debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kyle.
Back to you.
Enjoy the
Mark.
night.
All right. Thank you, Hayes. And I believe next up is 328 Wall Street. We have someone here on that application.
Look,
Yes, I'm here.
yep,
Excuse
okay.
me. All right.
Paul,
Paul Tankovitz. As you recall, this is the former Catskill Art Building. And what we have is a tenant who would like to go into the building, who is a successful business up in Hudson, New York. And he's taking the entire building, and we'd like to make some changes to the first floor and to the signage on both sides, on Fair Street and on Wall Street. The company is called Magic Hills. They're a furniture home goods company. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it. They're on Warren Street. They've been very successful up there. So what we'd like to do is a sign on Fair Street, which would be a blade sign. The original mask is existing from the former sign that was at that location. We would like to put a sign underneath the pike plan, perpendicular to the sidewalk. And we'd like to put a sign on the front underneath the pike plan, very similar to the other signage that exists throughout the Wall Street. We would also like to replace the storefront. It's an aluminum and glass storefront that is only a single plate glass. We would like to replace this with insulated glass and with new frames. The last time I was on Wall Street looking at this, the glass, as I said, is plate glass, and it has some cracks in it. It could be considered structurally unsound, but that's not the issue really. It's a non-insulating glass, very, very dated. And the last item that we would like to do as part of this proposal is that we have this tan brick that defines the demising piers between one building to the next building. And we would like to paint that out a neutral color. The yellow brick really doesn't work with anything along the area. It isn't historic sort of like material. And we feel that it would be an opportunity to paint this a color and just clean it up. So that is the basic proposal that we have. Also that the storefront is not symmetrical about the front door. It does not meet ADA requirements. Basically that we have to have so much room on the strike side of the door that doesn't exist today. So we would like to make a few corrections, upgrade the glass, add signage. Everything above the pike plan or everything above the first floor will remain as it is today. There will be no physical changes to the building. The brick facade has already been painted a number of years ago, and that color will remain on the building. There's a couple of glass block at the rear on Fair Street that are broken, and those will be replaced in kind. Okay.
so, well, just to clarify, so the glass openings are going to stay the same size. It's just going to be replaced with an insulated glass?
That's correct. Let me clarify that a bit. The glass to the left and right of the storefront is asymmetrical, and there is a header above the right storefront, and we would like to make that uniform. So we're going to take that header out and continue the glass right up to the underside of the pike plan, similar to the left side.
Right.
And we had a proposal in to use black anodized aluminum frames. We would like to make a change and just go with brushed aluminum frames, silver frames that match what we have there today.
Okay. And just one other clarification. So the doorway is, the existing doorway is going to be removed and replaced with, it's not being brought out, it's still going to be recessed?
The configuration, the recess, the configuration of the glass itself will be as it is today. Right now, there is a residential storm door on the building to enter the building, and that's screwed shut. That will be removed, in a traditional aluminum and glass, narrow style aluminum and glass storefront entry will be replaced, that sort of residential material.
So but that will meet the ADA requirement.
That is correct.
Right.
And we did have a photo of the signage proposed, but I'm getting an error when I try to open the PDF. So it's my understanding that it's going to be this logo, the Magic Hill logo. I just don't have, I'm unable to open the PDF. It's saying not supported.
Well, I think I had a couple sketches that showed the logo, the sign placement and the sign itself in my drawings, if you could bring that up. Questions?
Are we awaiting another page for your submission, Kyla? Yep, it's coming up.
There is another page.
Is it
Carla.
in this one, Paul? All right.
It's another page that shows the existing building and the rear of the building also. The other picture shows the Wall Street, Fair Street, and the three locations that we're suggesting to put signage.
Yeah, I don't seem, let me just look through my stuff. Sue, do you have that there?
Yeah, hang on, I'm looking for it. If you want to pull your screen share down, then I might be able to find, yeah, okay, that gives me the ability. Hang on. Give me a second. 328. I can't find it either, Kyla. Let me look one more place. Let me see.
Well, if in the meantime you could email it over, I could open it from email.
Okay. I can see
I
what I
don't
can
know.
do.
same thing that you do.
The error, right?
Yeah, hang on, what's this one? No. Uh,
Does he have a print copy he could just hold in front of his camera? We can take a
Yeah.
peek at it.
I don't have a print copy in front of me. I could try and get something on my computer.
If I made you a co-host, would you share? Yeah, I'm getting the error message to save as Kyle. I don't know why. We could open it. I made you a co-host. You might be able to share or share your screen, Paul.
All right, let me see if I can find that particular file. Okay. This is not on, I'm using two separate computers. My production computer, I don't put on the internet because I've had too many issues.
Okay.
So I keep that separate. Bill, by any chance, can you pull up the email that I sent? If you look in my email to you or Kyla, that
Yeah, but it's giving us an error message. Won't let us
Yeah,
open it.
I don't have that second sheet in the email. I have,
Paul, if you send it to me, I'll open it.
okay, let me see what I can do.
I'm sorry, I know we talked about this earlier today too.
No, it's not cooperating tonight. Hang on. I don't want to hold everyone up. As far as, we have three signs, very similar to the sign that Kyla showed you. The square footage of each of the signs we can talk about. That we are the one on, okay, it's going to match the Magic Hill sign with the black stripes and the red stripe above and below the Magic Hill. The signs will be on Fair Street, 24 by 48, 8 square feet. We have a total of 28 square feet or linear feet of store frontage. On Wall Street, we have a sign that's 7.5 square feet, and we have a sign that is 12 square feet. So we're talking about a sign right between the two columns at the entrance that will be at that location that identifies the shop, very similar to the other signs that are on the street. And then underneath the canopy, there will be a sign perpendicular to the canopy over the entrance. And as I said, one on the rear of the building, which will denote same Magic Hill, and that will be on the mask that's already existing on Fair Street.
That meets code, Sue.
Yeah, we'll just double check with the clearance that has to be beneath the signage. And then we'll also be requiring the insurance, naming the city as additionally insured for both the Wall Street and the Fair Street signage.
That suffices for me. We don't need to keep looking for a sample.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I mean, I have it and I can share if you want to see it.
Yes.
Who's watching?
I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, hang on, Victoria.
Hi, everyone. Victoria
Maybe.
Polidoro. Oh, I just need the host to allow me to
Yeah,
share.
I just gave it to you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna make it bigger.
Okay, this first one is the Fair Street sign. That is the arm or mask that's existing. You can see on Fair Street here, we've got some glass block that it's missing. We're going to do some maintenance on that. Sign that's down here at the street level will be removed. That's the former Catskill Art sign. And that's really all the changes that at this time we are planning to make on the Fair Street side of the building.
Scroll down.
Okay. This on the Wall Street, the intent here is to have a sign facing towards Wall Street from the traffic lane that would identify the shop. And there's a size on that, it's 18 by 60, which is well within the criteria of the size of the sign for the linear footage of storefront. And then what we've shown to the right is the unequal heads on the storefront, and we like these to be aligned. And rather than the black aluminum, anodized aluminum, we're going with brushed silver. And painting out the yellow brick with the what's called a Earl Grey exterior color. And that is a Sherwood Williams paint. And that's just the very minor areas that we have brick exposed. And that is underneath the storefront and to the left and right of the storefront.
But you're really painting the brick. You're not stuccoing it to smooth out.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our intent, yes.
All right. Do any HLPC members have other questions for the design, for the architect here? All right, I'll entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
Hayes Clement, so moved.
Thank you, Hayes. Robert?
Second.
Thank you for that. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative.
Thank you.
All right. I move that the commission find as fact that the proposed renovations to the existing storefront at 328 Wall Street in the Stockade Historic District by applicant 328 Wall Street LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. Renovations include replacement of glass storefront windows with insulated tempered clear glass and anodized gray aluminum frames. Windows on the south side of the entry door will be increased in size by removing the existing top fascia to match the dimensions of the north side. The entry door will be modified to meet accessibility standards, and the brick along the Wall Street side will be stained dark gray. Two hanging signs as depicted on S30 dated March 22, 2022 will be added to the Pike Plan canopy. Any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to work being carried out. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies, including naming the city as an additional insured as required by our sign ordinance. Based on the
Mark, I'd also like to just add that the signage under the Pike canopy will meet the clearance requirements as specified, as well as the Fair Street signage would be approved as submitted with clearance confirmed as well.
I accept that amendment. Is there any commentary on the amendment? Seeing none, I will continue. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 5th day of May 2022, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to our commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second Nettie Morano.
Thank you, Nettie. Any further discussion from members of HLPC? Seeing none, I'll call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you kindly.
Do members of
Off to you, Hayes.
Do any members of the Heritage Area Commission have additional questions of the applicant? Do I hear a motion from an HAC member to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
I hear a second.
Janet Marr, second.
Janet. That motion's on the floor. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Dean Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Nettie Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to issue a positive endorsement for the proposed renovation to the existing storefront at 328 Wall Street as presented, with the city named as additionally insured for hanging signage and signage clearances to be confirmed by building safety?
Bonnie Howland, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Nettie
Janet
Morano,
Marr.
second.
Janet Marr, thank you. That motion is on the floor. Any further debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Nettie Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Back to you, Mark.
And thank you kindly, Hayes. And I believe our next item is 311 Wall Street. Paul, are you on this one as well?
Yes, I am.
Would you like to describe it for the record?
Okay. This is 311 Wall Street. This extends back into Crown Street. There is a large parking area associated with this building. Most people know it as the former Woolworths building. It's been empty for a number of years, and it's a very difficult building to work with because of its size and the blank storefront above the Pike Plan is a large element that is very, very hard to proportion, to deal with, to put graphics on and so forth. So the intent here was to mimic the old Woolworths sign and come up with something that reflected that era in Kingston of the Woolworths building being there. The lower level adjacent to the street, which is glass and a pink granite, will remain intact. There will be no changes to that portion of the building. What we would like to do is put this graphic up on the building, and this will be backlit, not internally lit, but to give a shadow sort of glow to the sign itself. The way Woolworths stood off from the face of the building, we're proposing that this sign would stand off and it would have a red lettering with a stainless steel or aluminum backing. And behind that, we would have some LED lighting, and we would have a soft halo of the Uptown Studio sign. That is the only change that we're proposing for this building at this time. And the use of the building will be for events, special events, maybe a farmer's market one weekend, art show another weekend. What we want to do is to provide some activity uptown to take this vacant, large vacant structure and put it back into use and have people come up to Kingston for an event and put a little bit more life into this particular area. With the other building that I just presented and this building, we'll take two vacant storefronts and make them, somewhat viable again. And this is our intent to, until we really have a defined, long-term tenant, this is our proposal to make use of this and to get away from this vacant storefronts that are existing on Wall Street. So we have some other work to do at the rear of the building on Crown Street. If we could, Carla, show that.
Paul, just before we leave the front, is there any proposal to change the color of that background facade at all, or is that going to stay?
Well, we talked about that. Right now it's like a baby blue. I'm not really, a fan of this particular color. I had suggested to the owner, maybe we consider, some alternate colors. And I think that we would be open to suggestions for that baby blue color.
But just so I understand, that it's masonry now. I thought there were siding or vinyl siding or something up there. It's masonry currently?
Yes, it's a paint applied surface.
Okay. I think this is a terrific idea. I love it. I think it's a very creative solution to that. I think evoking the Woolworth sign is very clever and smart.
I love it too. I think that's great.
I'll concur in that.
I like that you're backlighting it, that it's going to glow that way.
Can we go around to the backside? Okay, so on the rear of the building, we have a canopy that's deteriorated quite a bit. We have a stone wall underneath, or a brick wall underneath that, like a knee wall underneath the canopy that's separated by some panels. We like to remove that entire structure, and in addition to the canopy, replace it with a revolving panels. These would be large panels that pivot on an axis. And these would be, if we had an event occurring within this building, it's large, it's 17,000 square feet, that these panels would pivot 90 degrees to the rear of the building. So you would have this expansive opening that you could look inside and see the activity that's occurring. We would have some food trucks in the yard. And we would propose to have movable landscaping that would be concrete planters with a tree, seasonal flowers. And these planters could be moved throughout the parking lot to accommodate various activities. If some activity required more space than the other, or if we had an alignment of food vending trucks that would require us to relocate these units, that would give us the flexibility type of program. We are planning to put we have an entrance tucked in on the, I guess that would be the southeast corner, of the building. And we're going to place a small canopy. You really can't even see that there's a door in that corner. Put a small canopy there with the sign, just this graphics. These canopies would be downlighted, and that's the only additional lighting. And we would put in handicap parking in this parking lot also. Our current plan is to provide a number of handicap parking spaces, which are not, at this time, there are no signage or any indication of handicap sign parking within the lot.
Well, you talked about the use of the building for either, a art show or some other type of event. I had envisioned the use as it was described a little differently, more along the lines of like a retail type use. Did you calculate the off-street parking for the event? If it were like an event type of
We calculated the way I based the parking was the square footage of the gross square footage of the building, what parking is available after I take out the handicap spaces, give myself some landscaping, and provide the adequate drive lanes that have been overlooked in the previous layouts of the parking lot. I'm looking at 9 by 18 parking spaces and 24-foot drive lanes. And I calculated that we run short of about, on the average, I believe the first pass was we can accommodate 42 cars within the lot after we make these enhancements. And then we're adjacent to 2 municipal lots plus the on-street parking. We're within 400 feet of North Street municipal lots. I know those are overloaded as they are because I did some surveys on those lots and they are highly utilized.
Right. But
So-
my question was that you use like a retail calculation versus
Yes,
an
we-
event, which is an occupancy-based type calculation.
That is correct. Yes, that's what we use.
Paul, may I just jump in for a minute? I think the client is describing the use as experiential retail. So the idea here is not that there's going to be like a wedding event held, but that there would be an art gallery with art for sale and maybe some performers where people could come in, browse, and leave. So it's a mix of retail and some draw to get people in the door, but not weddings or bar mitzvahs or anything like that where people
I was thinking like just gatherings, like you might have an event where people go listen to music kind of thing or other type of event. That's what, when you were describing it, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was wondering what the calculation difference might be if you did it that way.
So if I could add that we do have the building 311 or 323 or those type of events right next door. So we do have a space to hold those events versus to use this, which is not as suitable as the other space that we have existing for events. So I think as Victoria is saying, that this is going to be more of a display type space. We're going to have probably like booths and so forth for various vendors, and we're not going to get that concentration of people coming to the Old Woolworths building as we are with the other theater.
Right. The acoustics in this building without any ceiling or walls would likely not be suitable for a musical event at this time without some more work.
I have a question about the parking. Just curious if when you do this, are you opening up the lot for the public then?
At these events, yes, the lot would be open to the public.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay, just for the event, right now it's gated off. So is there going to be somebody at the gate or whatever? What if they're not? What if somebody just wants to park in your lot?
Well, the lot would be supervised. I mean, it would be open that day and closed at the end of that day or the end of the event. So someone who would be parking there for a longer period of time may have some difficulty getting their car out of there.
Right.
I mean, that's the only way we could possibly control it. If somebody wanted to come to the event and the parking is available, there would be no way to really deny a person to, the privilege of parking in the lot. Just as you could parking at a meter, first come, first serve, and at the end of the day, the lot is empty and we close the gates again.
Okay, all right.
One thing that struck me was the inclusion of what sounds like a storage unit somewhere here. Let me see if I can, it wasn't clear to me exactly where it was. Yeah, here we go. Roll-off storage container.
Yes, I can explain that. Based on the fire code and the use of the building or the amenities that the building has, that this building after each event has to be cleared out. We're not allowed to keep any flammables or any objects within the building. It's going to revert back to a shell after an event. This is a requirement of the building department. This building does not have insulation. It does not have any features. We will provide interior restrooms and lighting, exit signs, and the life safety features. But as part of the conditions to reuse this building and use it as we are proposing, that is the exception that or the requirement that the building department has placed upon the occupancy. They will do a walkthrough prior, and they will make sure that all the elements are in place for us to hold an event. And then at the end of the day, we will clear the building and store everything that can fit into the roll-off or take it off-site.
The roll-off as depicted looks like it's not much more than the length of a standard car in a parking space. Is that to scale? Is that accurate? Do you know what the length is going to be precisely?
Yes, it's 8 foot wide by 22 foot long. And it was just one of the roll-off sizes that I selected that would fit within a parking spot. I didn't want to give up additional parking. And that is basically all that I really would like to give up as far as with the shortfall of parking.
How tall is it going to be, Paul?
It's probably going to be 10 foot tall.
I just think visually, I'm trying to think of a better location for it. Visually, it just, to me, you're saying you're screening it with those.
The planners are.
I don't see that as an accurate and suitable screening. I'm just really concerned about a precedent being set for a roll-off being used without it being really screened better.
We had a proposal. We had a proposal for a stockade fence. If we enclosed it with a temporary, once the space is defined as a permanent use, these elements will be removed. If we were to put a stockade fence around the perimeter of this roll-off, would that be suitable and enhance the landscaping?
Is there another option other than a roll-off? Is there an option of, constructing a freestanding structure that might be somewhat more compatible rather than a roll-off unit?
Well, the concept here is really to try and get the space operating, around July 4th, if possible. And so constructing a whole new unit likely will take more time. Likely would have us miss the summer 2022. I do understand the concern.
What about retrofitting an area inside the building? I know the whole building, rather than doing the whole building, but would it be an option to just take a section of the building of the same equal size and just fitting it out so that it would provide that secure space that the building department is seeking? I'd like to talk to them about that. I don't know if that's an option for them.
The issue isn't curing the materials. The issue is the flammability and having combustibles left within the building. They want.
But that's what I'm saying. If it's possible to put a structure within the building, that would meet that code requirement. I don't know that. I'd have to ask building department if that's something that could be an option.
I think, Sue, what they're looking for is fire sprinklers, okay, in order to do that. And we do have a main coming into the building, but that particular fire main is not functional at this time. The building has been without heat for a number of years, and the entire sprinkler system was damaged by freeze-ups. So the piping no longer exists within the building. We do have a, I think it is an 8-inch main, fire main coming to the building. But beyond the face of the building, that's the extent of the fire sprinkler system. And I think that what the building department has conveyed to me is that without that sprinkler system, they're not going to allow us to store materials within the building. I think what they're afraid of also is that if they give us a little, the people may take advantage of that. So they set this rule that everything has to be taken out of the building after each event, after each day.
Would the board feel better about a truck? It's not uncommon to see large trucks in parking lots. If it was just a truck that was loaded and unloaded.
This is Bonnie from the Heritage Area Commission. Do you have a photo or a cut sheet of the roll-off storage container that you're proposing to put there? By any chance?
I do not have that, but if this is the one issue, we could have that for the next meeting. And if we could, just table that portion of the project, and we could discuss that in greater detail and try and come up with a better solution for everyone.
I would recommend that personally. You're working real hard in a tough shell of a building. We get that, but we are also concerned that other businesses might point to it as, okay, if they can have corrugated metal just sort of sitting there indefinitely, so can we. And I have a hard time envisioning it, I'll be honest.
Right. If the board would consider just tabling that until we can come up with an alternate solution, and we could possibly review or comment on the balance of our proposal, I would appreciate that consideration.
Thank you kindly. The pivoting panels, I'm not clear on what they're made of and how that will work in the back.
Okay, they're large wood panels painted a solid color with this logo on the center, and they would open to be 8-foot wide, sort of like windows to the interior of the building. They would not have glass or anything in them. It would just be a void that you would look through, and it would be like fins in the open position.
Okay, so they would extend out into the parking lot and back into the building. Just, they're not folding or accordion or anything like that. It's just center pivot. Am I following?
That's correct, sir. Yep.
Would they have full rotation or partial rotation as you're showing in the ground plan that's down in front of the center photograph?
They would pivot 90 degrees.
Okay.
And how would they be opened? I mean, are they able to be opened by individuals going in and out, or is it something that's just mechanically controlled by the management of the facility?
They would be at the start of an event, they would be opened and locked in the open position. And then at the end of the day, they would be closed and locked closed.
And
the panels are serving a dual function of, one, of replacing, that plywood that's up now, but two, of allowing adequate airflow in and out of the building, because all of the normal systems a building that's built out would have are not there. And so this provides that necessary airflow during the time that the building will be open to the public.
This is Bonnie Howland. Can I ask another question? Is that logo that's there, Upstate Studios, always there, or can you replace it with or add to it if an event was going to come in and you wanted to put a graphic for that event on that? Would it always be the is it Uptown Studios? Or is
Yes.
that swappable, I guess, if you will? Just out of curiosity.
At
Do
the
you understand
present
my
time,
question? Okay.
yes, at the present time, this is all the graphics that were going to be added to the building. If there was a special event at the Victoria, you can add this too, that we would apply for temporary signage.
Right, if needed, temporary signage would be sought, but it's intended that these graphics would be painted on. So they would be there for the duration. And I don't know, Ms. Howland, if you were present last year when we came in for signage for 323 Wall Street, but this
I
sign
was.
is very similar to the one that's going to be painted on the 323 wall, soon, now that it's warming up. And so there is some design continuity now throughout the buildings in the parking lot.
I like this. I like the unique design of it. I'm a project manager for theatrical scenery construction and on corporate events and things. So something like this I find very unique. That's why I'm curious if it's something that can be branded if you have an event coming in or not. It's more personal curiosity, but I kind of like the uniqueness of this concept on these for the openings of this backspace. So
I like it a lot too.
I think
Me
it's
too.
cool. It's very cool and very different. So I
Very
like that.
cool.
And I do appreciate that it coordinates with that BSP signage y'all did back there.
Wall Street Music Hall.
Wall Street Music Hall.
All right. Any other comments, questions?
Yeah, it's Robert. I just want to say this will be great. I was uptown, I had a building uptown for many years, and I walked by that building every day and there was never any life in it. This will be great if you can bring some life through that big open space. It's wonderful. And I like the way you're thinking about it. It kind of, step by step, kind of like how O Positive came into the area and turned it in, that grew into something, and maybe this can grow into something too, hopefully. Looks great.
All right. Any other comments? I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
So moved, Hayes Clement.
Thank you, Hayes. Do I hear a second?
Second, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Okay, I move that commissioners present find as fact that the proposed signage and parking lot amendments and additions at 311 Wall Street in the Stockade Historic District by applicant 311 Wall Street LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. One, the addition of
Mark,
Frozen, Mark.
depicted on
Mark,
page.
Mark, you were frozen. So can you please start over again for, with the first bullet, the addition?
The addition of backlit wall signage spelling Uptown Studios and 36-inch red lettering intended to replicate signage previously attached to the building for Woolworth's department store as depicted on sheet A003 dated April 15, 2022. One canvas awning. Did we agree on green for that? That's what's depicted. Is that correct still? I should check, Paul.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
Okay, one green canvas awning with 3-inch lettering, also reading Uptown Studios, will be added to the Crown Street door entry. Installation of 3 opaque painted panels on Crown Street in place of the windows and doorways that will pivot open for airflow. Center panel will have a mural sign as depicted on sheet A004, dated April 15, 2022. A reconfiguration of the parking area with a possible addition of food trucks. We are specifically omitting the roll-off for later consideration as a storage area, as well as landscaping, are not permanent changes to the building and will not have a material change to the property's contribution to the Stockade Historic District. Any additions or changes to plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 5th day of May, 2022, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in our foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Can I amend that, Mark?
What amendment would you like, Hayes?
To read for reason number 4, just to make it simple, that the reason 4 would read as reconfiguration of the parking area, the addition of food trucks and landscaping are not permanent changes to the building and will have no material change to the property's contribution to the Stockade District.
I feel we need to specify something about the roll-off because it's on the plan page that I've mentioned here. So I don't have a problem with your idea, but I do feel as though I need to so state because we've already discussed the possibility of coming back with a different design than that. So I do feel the need to specify. I don't mind putting it elsewhere in the motion to am I making it unclear by plopping it into that paragraph, you think?
I'll withdraw the amendment.
All right, thank you, Hayes. And then I will ask for a second for my motion as stated.
Hayes Clement, second.
Thank you, Hayes. Any further discussion from HLPC members? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Victoria, for your explanations. And I look forward to some provision that will suit the building department that's easier for us to visualize. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hayes, over to you.
Are you gonna, can you adjourn, Mark?
Well, all right, why don't you just do the heritage and then the HLPC can adjourn. We'll finish the item.
Oh. Do members of the Heritage Area Commission have any additional questions or comments for the applicant? Do I hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commission member to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
Second.
So second by Kevin, thank you. That motion's on the floor. Any debate on that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Dean Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Eddie Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to issue a positive endorsement of the HLPC's preservation notice of action for 311 Wall Street, specifically around the installation of new building signage and modifications to the parking lot?
Bonnie Howland, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Janet Marr, second.
Janet? That motion is on the floor. Any further debate or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn from any member of Historic Landmark Preservation Commission.
So moved, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Do I hear a second?
Second, Hayes.
Second from Hayes. Any discussion? Seeing none, I will call the roll. I saw a hand up, but it's not from someone we are going to be taking testimony from. I'll explain, sir. You have two different commissions meeting simultaneously here. You're on, I believe you're on for heritage area only, which doesn't require historic landmarks to sit in. So that's why I'm moving to adjourn. Other people will be remaining. We aren't cutting you off.
Okay, I was just wondering if you guys forgot about me.
No, thank you. All right. Remind me, have I called the roll? No. All right, then I will do so now. Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote aye on adjournment. We stand adjourned until next month. Thank you kindly all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Night.
Okay, so from here on, it's Heritage Area Commission applications only. First order of business is 600 Broadway, an application for installation of a fence. Morgan Coy, applicant, A&L Hutton Family LP owner. Morgan, you're still here?
Morgan is here.
Here I am.
Could you give us a little overview of what you want to do?
Yeah, so we're looking to replace the existing fence, which I think is we've got an image of a existing chain link fence that's been up there for who knows how long. We're going to push it back 3 feet so that we can have a little space for planters and or do some plantings, to try to make it a little bit more attractive. And then we're looking to create just kind of a it should be attractive, but also kind of in a kind of handcrafted way of these steel and mesh gates, and then black wood on the sides. That has an image there of a sign. It's going to be basically the Westkill Brewery is doing a tasting room in the middle of the building on the left, and they're renting this yard. So looking through there, that's honestly, it's going to be more green than what that rendering has. It'll be more grass, but the idea is that you'll be able to see through the center part, and then the outside parts will be black to match the black and white building. And we think it's a pretty attractive solution, and it sort of fits with the neighborhood down there, and replacing a chain link fence, but going next to that beautiful building next to us, and then 602 with the black and gray. So we think that's kind of a
so that you're seeing through. It's not going to be, it's something to be see through the gate, so that there's not just sort of a wall effect there.
Exactly. Like you'll have more than like about half of it will be fully see-through. It looks maybe a third, but so that you'll be able to see through there as you walk past, and then opaque on the sides. But
I think it looks right now, it's kind of like a missing tooth, where a building used to be, but this kind of resolves it and makes it look like it's designed that way or something.
It's been an unusual lot for a long time. It's got a long history. I guess it used to be stables, and brothers fought over it. One left for a weekend, and sold half of it, and the other came back and found that he didn't have it. Anyway. That's what I'm only representing Bill Hutton on this. I own the building on the left, renting the lot from Bill Hutton on the right, and so he's held on to it for generations. And this seems like a better use than just an empty lot. So,
any questions or issues from Heritage for the applicant?
So this is Bonnie Howland. So currently it's grass inside, and you said that is it going to get a patio in there? What is it? Is it going to stay grass and people are going to walk, like trample the grass, I guess? What is it going to look like inside?
It will be mostly grass, but there'll be a path of gravel. And then the plan is that there's going to be a food truck with a pad in the back. That requires building. My understanding was that for this, since we're facing the facade, like the street view, that the fence really is the part that we're looking at here, but there will be a food truck packed back there and then gravel. So it'll be not exactly a xeriscape vision, but there will be more of a like pea stone gravel walkway and that kind of thing, so that it won't require as much yard care, but we're not going to get rid of we're not going to cover the whole space. Like keeping some green space in Midtown kind of feels valuable. So,
yeah,
as opposed to being like, there's no green space anywhere. So we do want to keep like a good chunk of green space and then have sort of a functional sort of area where people can be, but not feel like they're standing in grass, so.
I love this. I love that. Can you just speak to, so you have the two solid like planked sides and then you have the mesh in the middle. What is the frame that goes around the doors?
That'll be metal. That'll
metal.
be like a sort of steel sort of header and framing to be able to hold the doors.
I dig it.
I mean, it's going to be a custom piece that somebody's going to have to weld for that. The rest, the wood can be attached more easily to the.
I love it. I'm a fan. It's very cool. I like it.
Any other questions for the applicant? Do I hear a motion to declare this type 2 action under seeker? Dean Barnes. Do I hear a second?
Bonnie Howland, second.
Thank you. That motion's on the floor. Any debate on that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Dean Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Eddie Morano.
Aye.
Dana Barr.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to approve the proposed installation of a fence at 600 Broadway as presented?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Janet Marr, second.
Janet Marr, second. Thank you, Janet. That motion is duly made and on the floor for consideration. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Dean Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Eddie Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is 602 Broadway, a proposal to install business identification signage, Light Bright Neon Studio LLC applicant, and the 602 Building LLC owner. Anybody representing the applicant?
May here from Light Bright
And
Neon.
May are both here.
May, do you want to just give us a little overview of what you're talking about?
Sure. So it's going to be a round sign, right there, the flag sign coming off the building on, sorry, forgive me, is it Field Court there? Yeah, so it's the dead end street is down past it. So the front side would be neon and the back would be painted. And just the Westkill Brewing logo.
This meets all code requirements, Sue.
It does, yeah, we put it towards Air Kitchen already.
Sue, you concur?
Yes.
Do I hear a motion to declare? Oh, I'm sorry. Do any commission members have questions? Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Nettie Morano, second.
That motion's on the floor. Any further debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Eddie Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to approve the installation of business identification signage at 602 Broadway as presented with the city of Kingston named as additionally insured?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Bonnie Howland, second.
Bonnie Howland, thank you, Bonnie. That motion is on the floor. Any debate or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Eddie Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, May.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Next item on the agenda is 37 Lucas Avenue. An application to install new business identification signage and replace a portion of vinyl siding. Cheng-Yong Choi, applicant and owner. Cheng-Yong, want to tell us what you're looking to do?
All right, so I just purchased the laundromat. So looking through some of the old Google map, there was actually a sign on the awning that faces Lucas Avenue, which had fallen off. The only full sign that is existing is the one that faces Washington Avenue. And there's also half of a sign on back of the building, which is opposite side of Lucas Avenue, which I will also put in. So the new signage, which I actually submitted to Susan, I believe, right, there we go. It's exactly the same size as what is actually on there. So it's basically renaming and then color change. And eventually I want to replace the, there's a vinyl siding towards the back of the building that's opposite side of the Lucas, and also on the back, on the right side, which is actually, you cannot see on the other side. So basically on the opposite wall of where Easy Wash sign is located is also vinyl siding. And you can see part of it towards the left by where the red car is actually parked. That's actually vinyl siding. So that portion, all the vinyl siding I want to replace, it'll be very close to the same color. The reason for that is there are a lot of, the vinyl siding is very old and it has a lot of cracks, and where I can actually see water had gotten in there and some of the plywood that's behind it is rotted. So I want to redo that and put new siding in there. So as far as the color and the shape should remain the same. And then basically adding, signage on both sides of the awning as well as the back of the building.
Sue, is this a dress, like even in the heritage area?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Yes, we checked that. He's also going to be removing the mobile sign. If it's not gone already, that'll be off premises now. I think overall it's going to be a nice improvement. Just the lighting on the signs, is that going to stay with, looks like exterior?
Right, so the white bar that you see
Right.
on top of the awning, that's actually lighting. And so that will stay. And
Okay.
so the actual sign won't have any lighting besides whatever that's shining down from this bar lighting. It's basically I think they're 4 foot. Used to be a fluorescent, which they replaced with an LED.
Okay, right. Okay, that was going to be my next question. They'd have to be replaced. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, the lighting is already there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, just the use of fluorescent is.
Anybody have questions of the applicant?
Good.
Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
We are second.
Janet Mark.
Second.
Thank you. That motion's on the floor. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Sorry, aye.
Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to approve the proposed installation of replacement signage and a portion of the vinyl siding at 37 Lucas Avenue as presented?
Bonnie Howland, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Nettie Morano, second.
That duly made motion is on the floor. Any debate or discussion of that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Thank you, Cheng Yong, for hanging in there.
Well, it's a long meeting. You guys have to hang in there too, right? So,
Congratulations. Good luck.
oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I think it'll be good. Certainly we'll make some improvement.
Yeah, we agree.
All right.
Next item of business, 524 Broadway, an application to paint the exterior of an existing commercial building. Swiss Grid LLC applicant and owner. Do we have somebody?
Scott Dutton is here.
Scott is here to represent them. Scott, can you give us a little overview of what you want to do?
Sure. I'll give you a little bit of background on this application and the next application because they're two properties that I have a long history with, and they were both recently purchased by the same young couple. They are residents of the city of Kingston, new residents of the city of Kingston. They live on Summer Street, Greg and Molly Broxton. They purchased Barconi Music and 518 Dr. Patel's office, which is directly adjacent to our office and my loft building. Back in 2000, we did the Barconi Music for building for Tim and Jan Barconi. It's needed a freshen up for the last 10 years. The paint started to fade under new ownership. Greg and Molly are interested in repositioning the building, and instead of having it as a single tenant, to reanimate the 3 tenant spaces, and they're looking to create a more distilled, simple, clean backdrop for that. The brick would remain, all of the wood trim elements they're looking to paint out in a single color. And they are proposing a Benjamin Moore color, which is very popular these days, a satin or matte black. Kyla, is it possible to put up the image? Maybe go back one. That sketch was prepared by the applicant. There you go. Thank you. You can see our building in the background on the left. This photo was taken prior to a recent application that we brought to HAC that was approved last month, I believe. We've since painted the windows and installed 2 cylinder signs or cylinder lights left and right of the main entrance. We used Iron Mountain, Benjamin Moore Iron Mountain, which is a dark gray, almost black paint color. And the thinking is that this would sort of homogenize and clean up and create a clean backdrop for subsequent signage that would come before this board for 3 individual tenants.
But just so I understand, but it's not the red brick that's going to be painted. It's just the trim, the signage.
Just the trim elements.
Okay.
The storefront glass is a dark bronze. So the Benjamin Moore satin black would kind of tie in the dark bronze storefront entrances, creating a 2-color scheme in effect that would be a clean backdrop for signage. You can imagine seeing subsequent applications for 3 separate smaller signs over the individual entrances.
Okay. And you want to explain, is there additional lighting on this one?
Not on this one. On the next application, we'll talk about a modest lighting and refinement.
Do you want to go ahead and explain that one, and then we'll vote on them separately, but it might be helpful to just get the whole context of what it's going to look like.
Sure. At last month's board meeting, we presented a cylinder light at the front of our building, which is just to the north, on 518 Broadway. The applicant has proposed cylinder lights. Tyler, is it possible to put up the elevation view of that? That are essentially the same cylinder light in black. One clarification that I can make is that there is an existing kind of like circa 1990 security light to the left that would be eliminated. And our feeling is that there's ample general illumination on the street, but this would enhance the facade, creating a second dimension of a lower light level for ambiance. And then that same fixture would exist down Diedrich Street in that same existing panel.
So 3 Broadway, 3 on Diedrich. So 3 cylinder lights on each elevation.
Correct, centered between the windows.
Anyone have questions of Scott or issues? Okay, on either of these. So let's go back to 524 Broadway. Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Bonnie Hallen, so moved.
Do I hear a second? Second by Kevin McAvoy. That motion's on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Eddie Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion to approve the proposal to paint the exterior of 524 as presented?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
Kevin McAvoy, second. Thank you. That motion is on the floor. Any further debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Next, do I hear a motion to declare the light installation at 518 Broadway a type 2 action under seeker?
Bonnie Hallen, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Natty Morano, second.
That motion's on the floor. Any further debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to approve the proposal for 6 cylindrical lights at 518 fronting Broadway and Dietrich Streets as presented?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Janet
Betty?
Marr.
Janet Marr, second. Duly made motion is on the floor. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is 374 South Wall Street, an application for painting and a new sign. 374 South Wall Street LLC, applicant and owner. Scott or Bill, you are the applicant.
Thank you, Mr. Clement. Yes, I'm here.
Then can you just give us a little overview of what you want to do?
Sure. I'll try to be as brief as possible. 374 South Wall Street on the corner of Greenkill and South Wall Street. Previously existing as Boulevard Liquors under Ralph Danger for many years. Prior to that, I believe it was Quigley's Candy Shop. We are aiming to paint the exterior of the building in its entirety with the exception of the trim, Sherwin-Williams Nordic Blue. Trim to be painted black, removal of all existing signage, replacing of signage on south wall facing frontage with 3-foot round logo, which I believe you guys have. Replacing on signage on Greenkill Avenue, frontage with 7-foot round, same attached. Signage will consist of a thin aluminum backing with the logo surface utilizing aluminite resin. I think it's about 1/6 of an inch. This is a durable fade resistant design being created by Johnson Signs. We are the ones hanging it though. Removal of existing long tube fluorescent lighting, adding additional gooseneck style lighting for building illumination and logo, which I believe is attached as well.
And all that other signage comes off, just to confirm.
Correct.
Sue, all this is to code. Any concerns from the building or from
No, it's going to clean it up very nicely.
agree? Any questions from commissioners for Mr. Cranston? Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Thank you, Dean. Do I hear a second?
Bonnie Hallen, second.
Thank you, Bonnie. That motion's on the floor. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Thank you. Second, do I hear a motion to approve the proposal for painting and new signage at 374 South Wall Street as presented?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Thank you, Dean. Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. That duly made motion is on the floor. Is there any debate or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Bill, and thank you for hanging in there with us tonight.
Thank you all.
Take care. Last on the agenda is a coastal consistency determination for Sojourner Truth State Park. Sue, do you want to walk us through what we need to do here?
Well, essentially, we've taken a look at the project and the elements in this portion of the upgrades, which are outlined in your notes, but it's essentially a construction of a new open air pavilion with seating and with some restrooms that don't exceed 3,500 square feet. They're repairing the existing pier and the bulkhead to provide safe public access. And they're improving existing upland gravel pathways, again, for just access, along with removing some invasive species, but planting more native growth to promote that kind of landscape areas. There's no shoreline improvements or alterations proposed. Given that, we looked at the seeker regulations. Our opinion is that it falls into the 3 categories that I've listed, and that would make it a type 2 action. And as a type 2 action, under our local code, no coastal consistency review would be required of your commission. So we're just asking your concurrence with our evaluation of it under seeker.
Do I hear or do our other questions?
One question, Sue or Kyla, one of you could probably answer this. I think when I went to look under projects under review, when you got to State Park Coastal, it drew a blank. Is that intentional? Because of what you just discussed, or
Correct, yes.
Is it supposed to be a site plan there? Okay, there's no site plan there then. Okay.
No, I think we just got a letter for that from the state, correct, Sue?
Yeah, we got a
Requesting.
communication. They did submit an EAF, which I went through. They did show some detail of, just the filling in specification, because there's an open area in the pier that's existing, and they're just going to fill that in so that there's not a void, and that's just really to create an even public access along that pier.
Right, and that would be the old Tilcon dock?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right, okay. Yeah, and the area where they're doing this other work would be where the Sojourner Truth event was, where the silos.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay, and are any of the paths, are those in the upland, or is that just the path coming down from?
This is just the one path coming down.
Down to First Avenue to access where the silos were, and then you get down to the pier. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Been there, seen it already. Okay.
Any other questions or issues with this? Do I hear a motion to reaffirm the improvements described for Sojourner Truth State Park as a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act?
Bonnie Howland, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Janet Marr, second.
Janet. Duly made motion is on the floor. Any debate, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Eddie Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
Nothing else for discussion, Sue?
No, just adjournment.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So move.
This time we all don't talk all over each other for the adjournment.
All right. Yeah.
Do I hear a second? So I heard the
Bonnie
motion.
Howland, second.
Bonnie Howland seconds the motion. Any debate? I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Barnes.
An enthusiastic aye.
Yay.
There it is.
McAvoy.
Aye.
Morano.
Aye.
Janet Marr.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for your
Okay.
diligence.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey, good night.
Thank you. Good
Night.
night.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day.
Yep.
You too.
All of you.
Bye.